To that, Nicole Murphy had relations with your ex-husband. Were you two friends?
Birthday parties. I've been to her house. She was at my bachelorette party. But you know what? At that time, my mother told me then. She said, but you got to watch that one there. And I was like, who? I said, the one dancing? She said, yes, that's Eddie Murphy's wife. She said, you got to watch that one.
Current wife at the time or ex at the time?
I want to say, I think she was still married. They were still married. And I was like, no, And so, your mom tell you something about new school, you feel like you old school, And she was right.
Nicole Murphy, you're disgusting. You sat on that couch and you laughed. It ain't no moment, it's a mess. You wrong for that. You the type of women that let these men be evil. They gotta have some help, and women like you are that type of help.
Y'all, there aren't many times we talk about LisaRaye McCoy like this, but what she said about Nicole Murphy, phew, it was wild. She didn't hold back one bit, and honestly, who could blame her? LisaRaye and Nicole used to be close, real friends. So when Nicole decided it was okay to start sneaking around with LisaRaye's ex-husband, Michael Missick, it was the ultimate betrayal. And to make it worse, Nicole did it right under LisaRaye's roof. Ever since Lisa found out, she's been dragging Nicole every chance she gets. She's called her out in interviews, on red carpets, even on social media, saying Nicole is nothing but selfish and sneaky. Lisa made it clear. She sees Nicole as someone who ruins homes and has no shame about it. But here's the crazy part, Nicole doesn't seem to feel bad. Not even a little. She's been walking around like she didn't do anything wrong. Can you believe that? Like she didn't just tear apart her own friend's trust and peace of mind. And let's be honest, this isn't the first time Nicole's been caught messing with someone else's man. It's just the first time someone like LisaRaye had the guts to say something loud and clear. Ever since her split from Eddie Murphy, Nicole's been jumping from one situation to the next, and it's always messy. Some folks say she's been chasing the same kind of lifestyle she had when she was married, expensive clothes, vacations, and all that comes with money. You probably remember when Nicole lost a huge part of her divorce money in a scam. She trusted a so-called friend named Tony Stratos, and he ended up tricking her out of $10 million. That was almost everything she got from her $15 million settlement. Imagine that. All those years married to Eddie, 5 kids together, and boom, almost all the money gone. That loss must have hit hard. And once her kids started growing up and aging out of child support, that safety net disappeared fast. So what did Nicole do? According to a lot of folks, she started relying on her looks and charm to find another man who could keep her in the lifestyle she was used to. That's her business, no judgment. But it turned ugly when she started going after men who were already married, especially married to her friends. She didn't even wait long between scandals. As soon as one mess faded, she found herself wrapped up in another one. Things really blew up when she was spotted kissing Antoine Fuqua, yes, Leela Rochen's husband, while wearing a bikini. It was public, it was bold, and it was a full-blown media disaster. Nicole tried to cover it up by saying they were just family friends greeting each other.
Yes.
But
I know, trust me, Wendy. Trust me, I wish it didn't happen.
Okay.
What just happened? Well, I think it was a moment where I should have thought more through the situation, made better judgments, So it's something that I apologize for. What happened was there was a statement that was released. I did not put out that statement. I was actually on the airplane, and I was coming back from Europe.
They were in Italy at a film festival.
Yes.
And allegedly...
But I was out there for business.
Okay.
There was some designers out there as well, so I was dealing with that.
Okay.
There was familiar faces out there, and it happened.
Where did this happen?
I was in Italy.
No, I mean, where did that happen right there? Because you all look like you just woke up in the morning.
No, we did not.
Your body looks
First of all,
phenomenal.
I was at the pool.
Okay.
We're on a different time zone. I was having a hard time staying awake. I was drinking an espresso. That's it.
Okay, and you leaned in.
Yeah. It was a moment that should not have happened. I regret it, and I apologize for it. And I'm a human being. It was a mistake.
Mom, no one was buying that. Word is Eddie Murphy himself wasn't pleased with how messy things got. Rumor has it
I was hearing from my sources that she had called the paparazzi to take the pictures of her.
That's what I thought anyway.
And that this is not the first time she's done it. And that the reason why she's doing it is because she, in fact, actually does want to be with him.
Of course.
And she, in fact, if they're kissing like that, you know they.
What are the odds that these two black people would be in Italy and run into each other if they did not leave America to go to Italy together?
And what are the odds that paparazzi does not checking for either one of them is going to find them in some remote place in Italy to take pictures?
The foreign paparazzi. Hey, isn't that this director who we don't ever see and Nicole Murphy who we don't ever see?
Right.
Oh, yeah, let's take their picture right now while they're kissing.
Exactly. And let them kiss multiple times to make sure that the paparazzi gets it.
Throughout the day.
Throughout
2
the
days. In the robes.
Right.
In the swimwear.
In your robes.
They're just waiting for y'all.
So that's what I was hearing, and that's what I didn't report because I was trying to be like, that's my girl. And in Love Muffins, if you don't believe that, go back to a couple of podcasts ago, or maybe more than a couple, like 8 podcasts ago, when I was talking about this, you were going in on her.
I was.
And I was pumping the brakes.
You were.
I was like, no, you know, I was doing that. You know, I was just, you know, I'm just reaching for everything, trying to not.
I'm like, that hussy.
Yeah, not to really expose her for being the lying scallywag that she is.
What I call her, a Jezebel.
She's a Jezebel, but she's a scallywag.
Made her apologize just to calm things down. That's when she suddenly popped up with a half-hearted public apology, claiming she didn't mean to send the wrong
The
message.
thing is this, when you're a woman and you grown, let's handle it like a woman. Let's talk face to face and let's get it out. But here's the thing. I sat with her a couple of months ago, longer than a couple of months ago, about 6 months ago. And
This
I
was
said,
after the alleged affair?
Before.
Okay.
And I said, let's talk about it because I waited a very long time for you and I to get like this right here, face to face, you know?
Okay.
And
No, she's talking about Nicole, not me.
right.
Relax.
And we had a good conversation because she said to me, you know what? We're two older women that look good that's in the business. I hate this. And I do too, because I hate when we can't bridge the gap between women. You know, you should not be in that position.
Right.
I will say this.
But honestly, it was already too late. The damage was done, and Nicole's reputation nearly impossible to fix now.
That's true, absolutely true.
So what happened exactly?
Just what you said. She messed around with my husband. Here's the thing. We've all done something that we regret. We've all made mistakes, and we all have to learn from that. But when you start doing it and being messy enough to do it amongst family, how does a family kiss turn into a I'm sorry apology? Like, what do you mean? You didn't know that she was married? We all know that she was married. And that was 20 years. That's history. You don't do that amongst friends.
Right.
Because there's no loyalty.
Right.
There's no loyalty, and you got to look up, and your person that you invited to your house and you celebrating your birthdays and going to games with, you got to look up and they're in Italy with your husband.
Right.
Nicole have reportedly been close friends for years, and they travel in the same circle.
And my thing is this, plus, you know, you're not talking about it all the time. That's that friendship stuff.
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Well, but listen, the whole internet's on fire about it. Even your sister, the brat, LisaRaye McCoy, jumped in social media and said, girl, Nicki Murphy, you went after Lela Rashawn's husband too? Shaking my head so wrong again.
Ooh, wait, hold on.
So what's the fine print of the tea? Like, did she go after LisaRaye's husband when she was married to
Absolutely. When my sister was the first lady of Turks and Caicos, absolutely.
What?
I really don't believe anyone just randomly wakes up and accidentally kisses someone else's husband. Let's be real, nobody's falling for the story she's trying to sell.
To that, Nicole Murphy had relations with your ex-husband. Were you two friends?
Birthday parties. I've been to her house. She was at my bachelorette party. But you know what? At that time, my mother told me then. She said, you know, but you got to watch that one there. And I was like, who? I said, the one dancing. She said, yes, that's Eddie Murphy's wife. She said, you got to watch that one.
Current wife at the time or ex at the time?
I want to say, I think she was still married. They were still married. And I was like, no, you know. And so, you know, when your mom tell you something about new school, you feel like you old school, you know. And she was right.
How did you find that out?
I had checked the manifest of my plane, because we owned a plane. And so when you check that list, it says all the people that have rolled on the plane. And she didn't ride on it with me, and nor did she receive an invitation from me. So if you had a girlfriend that has her own island, I would think that you would call and say, hey girl, I'm coming, because I was getting everybody to come. So why you would accept an invitation from him and you don't even know him is unbeknownst to me. I don't know how that could happen. Do you? I guess not.
I never owned a private plane or
Not that part.
no, I mean, I don't know, but you know, meaning, yes, this is too rich for me. You know, the manifest of the list, like, damn. So you saw her name on the list.
And I tried to call her. And, you know, at first she said, no, I haven't been to Turks and Caicos. I have not been. And it was like, well, wait a minute, you know. And then I called again, and then she stopped answering the phone. So at the time, she was dating, at this time,
Michael
when I
Strahan.
found out, she was dating Michael Strahan. So I called him. And I said, hey, do you know anything about this? And, you know, we talked or whatever. And I said, well, you know, let me send you a tape that I have of proof, you know. And so I did.
What tape? What was on the tape?
You know, it was a tape of her and Michael when she was dropping Michael off at the private airport in her car. And they opened the gate and they pulled up to the plane, and she gets out and he gets out, and I go, oh, I didn't know y'all knew each other. And I'm gonna leave it right there because that part is my business. The other part is someone else's business, which I've never, you know, would speak on. But for me, that was enough. It was like, wow, I'm gonna whoop your ass. Friends don't do that now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that I would think an enemy would do, or somebody that I just don't know. But someone that you have to watch your girl. Where I come from, south side of Chicago, that's an ass whooping. That's an ass whooping. Period.
LisaRaye sent the proof to Nicole's then boyfriend, Michael Strahan, and I'm guessing that was enough for Michael and Nicole to call up their engagement and go their separate ways. But Nicole doesn't have any intentions of apologizing to LisaRaye the way she did with Layla. Word on the street is that she is pissed that LisaRaye is still bringing up something that happened more than 15 years ago.
LisaRaye wasn't here for the lies Nicole was trying to push. She didn't sugarcoat anything. In her eyes, Nicole knew exactly what she was doing. It wasn't some accident. LisaRaye believed Nicole was just chasing another wealthy man, and she thought Antoine would be her next payday. And the reason LisaRaye was so sure? Because Nicole had already pulled the same sneaky move on her in the past.
Media. It may be social media. No. Social media took on a mountain of its own. And like I said, listen, it said I broke up somebody's marriage, which is absolutely false. I never did that. There was a statement released by that ex-husband saying it's false. And
no, you're talking about when LisaRaye got involved and said you slept with her.
Yes, and it's not.
No, she talked real crazy on social media.
I know, it's not true. First of all, her husband released a statement.
That was the Caicos King.
Yes, saying it's not true.
Yeah, I saw that.
Nobody focused on that issue. No one, they just focused on
bed with Roxy, so.
It had nothing to do with me.
Nicole got involved with Michael Missick while he was still married to LisaRaye. What makes it worse is that Nicole and LisaRaye were close friends at the time. Real tight. Nicole even showed up to their wedding like everything was all good. But behind the scenes, she was moving shady, real sneaky. When the truth started coming out, Nicole denied everything, acting like nothing ever happened. But LisaRaye stood firm. She didn't stay quiet and made it clear again that Nicole absolutely crossed the line. Even Da Brat, LisaRaye's younger sister, spoke up and backed her story. She confirmed it too. Nicole had definitely betrayed LisaRaye's trust.